Today is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, and the time is 6 p.m. The regular meeting of the following will come to order. The Victorville City Council and the same council sitting as the Victorville Library Board of Trustees, the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, the city as a housing asset successor, Joint Powers Finance Authority, and the Victorville Water District. Madam Clerk, will you kindly call the roll?
Councilmember Godin.
Here.
Councilmember Irving.
Here.
Councilmember Mora.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Here.
Mayor Becerra.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, closed session announcement by our city attorney, Mr. DeBernowski.
Thank you, Mayor Becerra. We had two items this evening, both regarding litigation. The first was existing litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D1 and the case name and case numbers set forth on the agenda. The second item was anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D4, one potential case. With respect to both of those items, there is no reportable action at this time.
Thank you, sir. At this time, if you would please stand for our invocation, our Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, our invocation will be led by Pastor Josh with First Assembly of God, and our pledge will be led by Lieutenant Travis Randolph.
This evening, I pray great wisdom, Lord, for our council, Lord, and all the staff that's here tonight. Lord, we thank you that you love our city, and I pray again a blessings on Victorville. Lord, let your hand go with every family. Lord, I pray prosperity. I pray wisdom, and we thank you, God, that you care about the things we care about. Pray for your wisdom tonight in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you present the agenda and any revisions thereto?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There are no revisions to the agenda this evening.
At this time, I'll be making note to my fellow council members. I'll be reorganizing written communication. We're going to move item 23 as the first item in written communication. We're going to receive a presentation from a consultant, so we'll get them in and out. At this time, we'll move on to introduction to public comments. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
Can we do conflict of interest declaration first, Madam Mayor?
You do that too. Thank you, ma'am. Fellow council members, any conflict of interest? None, none, none? Okay. Now, public comment.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Victorville City Council. Your city council is interested in your ideas and opinions and furthermore endeavors to incorporate them into its deliberations. At the same time, the council must be able to carry out its business in an organized and efficient manner free from material disruption. Therefore, this meeting will be administered in accordance with the city council's established policies and procedures and Government Code Section 54957.9 and 54957.95. Individuals may speak on agenda items or on issues not posted on the agenda during the public comment section, provided those issues are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Individual speakers may address the council once per public comment period and once per each public hearing item for up to 3 minutes. Additional time may be allotted for appeal hearings in accordance with the city's adopted policy and procedure manual. Those who desire to comment on a public hearing item may wish to reserve their remarks until that particular public hearing has been opened. All testimony is to be directed solely to the council. Although open meeting laws do not permit council members to engage in dialogue with any speaker during the public comment period, please know your comments and questions may be taken into consideration by council members when discussing the particular agenda item. The presiding officer may briefly respond or have staff respond to statements or questions, or may request that the staff report back to the council at a subsequent meeting. Speakers are requested to comment as briefly as the subject permits. Once comments are invited, the speaker will be called on by name, then recognized by the presiding officer. The speaker will state the item number that will be addressed or that the subject is a non-agendized matter. Audience members may not disrupt, disturb, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, and those who do are subject to removal from the meeting pursuant to Penal Code 403. Your understanding and cooperation are appreciated. Our first speaker this evening is Randon Lane on a non-agendized item.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Randon Lane, and I serve as Vice President of Government Affairs for Athens Services. As you may know, Athens Services is we manage the 5 landfills and 9 transfer stations here in San Bernardino County. We also have American Organics, which we own and operate here in Victorville as well. Tonight, I have no ask. I am simply here to introduce myself to make sure you, the City Council, your staff, the public has a point of contact as we manage the landfills and transfer stations here in San Bernardino County. It's important to us to make sure that we are communicating with the residents, that we are making sure that we're being able to give feedback, take feedback, and be able to work in the communities that we serve. And so tonight, my cell number 951-830-3485, and my email address is rlane@athensservices.com. And I just wanted to introduce myself, make sure everyone had a face with a name. And if I can ever be of help, if my team can ever be of help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker is D. Fernandez on a non-agendized item.
Hello, City Council. I'm here again. On March 9th, my daughter passed away. I don't know how, but hopefully at the end of this, you'll kind of understand what I mean. I don't know how. I'm here to describe how the San Bernardino Sheriff's County Department, or the Sheriff's Department, failed at their most basic duty to protect the community and enforce our laws. The facts are appalling. First, the homeowner allowed minors to drink at her home, a crime under California law. The same homeowner allowed her intoxicated 17-year-old daughter get behind the wheel. And also a 22-year-old supplied alcohol to these minors. But what's worse is they admitted to the sheriff on scene that they had been drinking prior to entering the vehicle, and no standard DUI test was performed. They had one job: to gather evidence and ensure justice. Instead, they chose not to do their job. They allowed a chain of criminal acts to go unchecked. They did not follow their own trace protocol. When a severe alcohol-related emergency occurs, first responders must notify the ABC. They did not. Zero tolerance laws were ignored, and the provision prohibiting minor drivers under 18 from driving between the hours of 11 and 5 a.m. and also transporting anybody under the age of 21 were also ignored. The paramedics report states that she was let out of the vehicle. She was let out of the vehicle by the driver, and then she lay down on the road where a second vehicle struck her head, and they describe her injuries: face caved in, skull split open, and brain evisceration. Auto versus pedestrian. Yet the sheriff's she jumped from a moving vehicle. No other cars involved. Her injuries are not consistent with a fall. They are consistent with being ran over. This is the kind of protection we deserve. When laws are broken and people die, we need to know that those responsible will be held accountable. The DA promises equal justice for all, but when no one faces consequences, the words are very empty. When deputies don't apply the laws, when they don't apply the laws, what does it say about their commitment to the public safety? What does it mean?
Your time is up.
I'm done. That's what I wanted to say.
Our next speaker is Rudy Fernandez on a non-agendized item.
This is basically the same topic as my cousin that passed away. And my brother's CHP officer in Victorville, and he said a lot of things weren't done right. He doesn't see how an unlicensed driver, intoxicated, can walk away from a scene and not even get a simple citation. So it's basically the same thing. That's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nettie Taylor on a non-agendized item.
Okay, good afternoon, Mayor, Madam Mayor, and City Council. My name is Nettie Taylor. I'm a resident, and I am here to just share a concern that I have within the community. First of all, we as stakeholders, we can complain about whatever we feel that we need to bring to the city. And if we don't speak up, we won't be heard. So I'm here to speak up for myself and the rest of the community. I'm not sure if they're dealing with the same problem I'm dealing with, but I'm here to share my concerns. And if I don't, we can't grow as a community. When I look around, I can see that Victorville is growing, it's changing, but is it changing in a way that benefits the whole community? My concern is with parking. I live in a neighborhood where when I moved in, it was brand new, it was nice. I thought that I was moving forward, but it appears to me that we're moving backwards. And I say that because I'm hoping that we move forward, based on my concerns. The parking in the community is 72 hours. So we can park, people can park for 72 hours, and we don't do anything about it. But the problem that I've been having is because I live on the corner, I have an area that's just a lot of space there. And I've had rigs to park there. I've had people to park there just for 72 hours and nothing's done because guess what? We got 72 hours. But if it's not for me calling and complaining, you guys don't know that it's being done. So currently I have people parking there. They just park their cars. They leave it there for 72 hours. Then they come back and move it because they know that I'm going to call and complain. So now what they're doing, they're parking another vehicle there that's going to stay there for 72 hours. Guarantee you they'll move it, but then they'll put another vehicle there. And that vehicle remains there for 72 hours. Why? Because they know I live on the corner and I'm going to call and complain. But I'm proposing that we change that 72 hours to 24 hours or less than that because it's getting out of hand. And someone knows this and they just constantly bring vehicles and they're constantly being parked there. So I'm here hoping that you hear my concern and probably look at what's going on in the community.
Your time is
There's
up.
a lot of vehicles that are parked that clearly has been there for months at a time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next speaker is Jacob Alanis. They checked the box for an agenda item, but didn't note that, so I'm not sure if it's about a public hearing item or not.
Hi, sorry, I apologize for being severely underdressed. I thought I was just gonna be speaking to someone about the water department. There was a leak in my, at the meter, and I notified the water department, in December, and clearly the graph shows that it just kind of went off. I was never notified whether it was my fault or the city's fault, or, which I know that I have a certain responsibility to take off, like if it's on my side of the property or whatnot. But you guys came and fixed it, and then I just thought, that'd be the end of it. But then, like, there were still more charges. I was just wondering, can I kind of like average that out to take away those charges that were high during that time, if it was on the city end to fix that?
Mr. Metzler, do,
Okay, well, thank you.
Our next speaker is Samantha B. She noted an agenda item, but not what item it was.
okay, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
That concludes general public comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. At this time, we're going to move on to public hearings. Our first business of order is item 1, an amendment to the circulation element of the Victorville General Plan with an environmental exemption to remove Valley Park Lane as a designated collector roadway located between Armagosa Road and Civic Drive, approximately 1,200 feet south of Roy Rogers Drive. Mr. Metzger, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This item involves an amendment to your circulation element, which is included as a part of your citywide general plan. And it involves the removal of effectively what I would characterize as a paper portion of a street. Valley Park Lane currently exists as it extends westerly from Civic, south of and abutting the Home Depot just north of us here at City Hall. But from it ultimately terminates as a physical improved road coincident with the western parcel boundary of the Home Depot. And so this item, it's been determined that the extension, logical extension of that to Amargosa Road is not necessary. And so with that, to eliminate it would require an amendment to your circulation element. This is an item that actually was heard by your Planning Commission on June 10th, 2026, so this year, and was voted on unanimously with a 4-0 vote. And so with that, this item has been authored by Mr. Alex Hadigi, your city planner, certainly available for any additional questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council open and conduct a public hearing to receive public testimony, close the public hearing, find the general plan amendment exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to Section 15061B3, and adopt resolution number 26-067, approving general plan amendment case number PLAN 26-00008.
Thank you very much, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilwoman Godin,
I have none. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Irving,
No questions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Mora,
I have no questions, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
and I have none. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak on this item?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I will now close the public hearing, and I'll invite a motion for this item.
Move to adopt staff recommendation as presented in the agenda.
Second.
We have a first by Councilman Godin, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Harriman. Councilman Godin, comments on the pending motion?
I have none. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman, comments?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving, comments?
No comments. Thank you.
Councilwoman Mora,
No comments, thank you.
and I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve points 3 and 4 of staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 2, consideration of resolution number VWD 26-012-A. Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Victorville Water District adopting new rates, fees, and charges for water service. Mr. Metzger, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This item is brought forward resulting from having had a number of conversations with you beginning last in a workshop setting where we discussed water rates for the Victorville Water District, and that was a workshop that we had with you on April 27th. And then ultimately again on June 2nd was the last time we discussed this matter with you, and direction was given to proceed with the protest balloting process that's necessary to satisfy the Proposition 218 requirements as we consider rates for the water services. And as you know, the city of Victorville owns and operates its own water system throughout all 75 square miles of the city. where that system is fairly involved and robust, where it involves not only the production system, which is the actual extraction wells where we're pumping groundwater, but it also includes your storage facilities along with your actual delivery system, all with the intent of producing high quality, reliable water to the tap of our residents and businesses. And so with that, to operate and maintain a system of that nature, it certainly requires a number of plans. We rely on a 10-year master plan of service, which you'll actually hear about later in this agenda. But it's something that we follow on an annual basis and is actually a large component that factors into our cost of service study, which is basically an analysis to determine the actual cost to run the system, and then also that study determines the rates necessary to be collected by the ratepayers so that we can meet the minimum needs of the water system. And so with that, this item before you tonight is really the culmination of all of those efforts, where now that we've completed the Proposition 218 process, protest ballots have been mailed out to ratepayers. It's the time to basically evaluate whether or not a protest ballot has been reached, and then ultimately a determination by this council as to the adoption of the 5-year rate plan, which basically establishes an expectation of what the rates are needed to satisfy the operation and maintenance of the system for the next 5 years. So very involved process here. We do have, of course, your Director of Public Works and Water, Mr. Doug Matthews, who's the author on this item. We also have Kim Baylor of Bartles and Wells, who did assist us in the preparation and analysis that was your cost of service study. So certainly have a team available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable Victorville Water District Board of Directors review and consider all valid written legal objections and district responses, determine that staff has adequately responded to all valid legal objections, and direct that the public hearing proceeding in accordance with AB 2257, open the public hearing, receive testimony, public comment, and consider all protests against the Victorville Water District's adoption of new rates, fees, and charges for water services, determine if a majority protest exists, close the public hearing. If no majority protest exists, approve resolution number VWD 26-012 to adopt the new water rates, fees, and charges for water services.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Yes, this is for City Manager. We have the lowest water rates in the San Bernardino County, do we not?
I don't know about the entire county. Certainly, when we compared to comparable cities, we were among the lowest. I think with this rate plan, we're just a hint above the Hesperia rate if this gets adopted, but we're certainly amongst the lowest.
And we've always done a 5-year study. We've been very responsible for how we approach the water rates to make sure we don't have an astronomical change in the rate. Is that what our rate study shows?
Yes, I would agree with that. At least for the last 10 to 12 years that I can recall, the councils that we've worked with directly has actually kept pace by adopting and sticking to the rate plans, and certainly that's been huge, not only in terms of satisfying the cash needs of the system, but certainly to avoid a shock to ratepayers as to an annual increase. And so what this rate plan does do is it looks at a annual 4% increase over the next 5 years, basically to serve the needs. And so with that, in sticking to that plan, presuming the councils in the future adhere to that going forward, certainly expect that you can avoid having to see an exponential rate increase in any future given year.
And the water rate that the citizen or the homeowner or the tenant or whoever is on that water bill, that rate actually pays for all the maintenance for our infrastructure and everything tied to the water system for the delivery of the water.
It includes, yes, the operation, the maintenance, so that's everything from the electricity to run the pumps, whether it's pumping water out of the ground or pumping water through your system. Certainly, there's a huge element of human resource or people necessary to fix the pipes and the leaks and swap out service lines, things of that nature. It also does include an element that actually supports capital improvement. So that's capital upgrades, big upgrades to your system, such as those that would involve the replacement of old aging pipes or pipes that are of substandard material so that we can avoid the potential for major leaks that create substantial amounts of damage just due to the lack of or the neglect of keeping up with those improvements.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman Godin?
Yes, I have a couple clarifying questions. Number one, Mr. Metzler, if my memory serves right, it was approximately about a $4 increase per bill that we were going to be looking at per month. Is that about right? It's a rough estimate, but it's maybe a little higher than what the actual number was.
A little bit higher, yeah, it's 4%.
Okay. And then secondly, all the property owners that are going to be affected by this were mailed a notice. Is that correct?
That is correct. In total, we sent out about 39,000 notices.
And then with that notice, they were given the ability to submit a written protest. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the threshold was 50% plus one?
That is correct, to be received as protest amongst the actual qualified ratepayers, yes.
And what was the actual amount submitted back?
That I don't have the answer to. Madam Clerk, do you have that information?
We can definitely tabulate the votes later, but based off of just the envelopes and then what was provided this evening, I have 38 protests that have not been validated against the appropriate list, though.
Thank you, that's all.
Councilwoman Mora?
Thank you. Another question, during this rate change adjustment, we're also going to a single tier method so that we're complying with state regulation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All my other questions have been answered by the other council's questions, so thank you.
Councilwoman Irving?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to ask that you allow me to publicly tell I would like to make a statement. Is that okay? Rather than ask questions, I want to apologize to Mr. Matthews. We had a very lengthy discussion that centered on equity during the workshop. And of course, you know, being a student, a long lifetime learner, I went and investigated. So you were right, utility rates have to do with equity, and it's centered on what's fair and impartial. But coming from education, you know, education, transportation, as it relates to policy and dealing with people, equity has a different definition. So I just want you to know I wanted to apologize to you publicly for that. And I thank you for engaging me in that dialogue, though. Thank you. That's it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
No problem. Mr. Metzler, I do have a question on page 142. It's drought surcharges, conservation. So are we continuing, are we ramping up our conservation effort with our citizens to assist them with everything? Mr. Matthews?
I'd like to answer that, but I think the best answer is going to come from Mr. Matthews.
So the answer on that is yes, we are ramping up conservation efforts. Just state regulations and laws are requiring it, so that's coming. But in saying that, the drought stages aren't really related to those conservation efforts. They would be due to a severe reduction, a severe drought across the state that, you know, would force us to really ramp down hard and drive our revenues down to the point where we couldn't meet costs. That's where the drought surcharges come into play.
But these droughts are from the state of California. They come to us. We don't declare a drought in the city of Victorville.
So the state would declare a drought, but when it comes to the drought surcharges, we would make the determination when those revenues reach certain levels below what was needed to, maintain and run our system. So we would look at that. We would do everything we could prior to implementing a drought surcharge. We could look at foregoing some capital programs. We could look at a lot of things, but it wouldn't be until we saw an impact. You could get a severe drought and it could be, a reduction in water that we could, sustain for a bit. So it would just have to be something that would come back to council. It would be something, through the city manager, we'd bring back to you and bring it to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. At this time, I ask the Board of Directors, has the Board of Directors reviewed all written legal objections and responses to the same? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I'll invite a motion from the district board that's determined consistent with the findings in section 5A of resolution number VWD 26-012, that district staff adequately responded to all valid legal objections and directs the public hearing to proceed in accordance with AB 2257.
So moved.
Second.
Comments on the pending motion, Councilwoman Irving?
No comments.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes, I would just like for the audience to know, we although he says we're the second,
We're moving.
second lowest, we're pretty much the lowest water rates in San Bernardino County. I'm sure Hesperia will raise theirs a little bit and we'll be the lowest.
We're still moving forward to the public hearing, folks. Councilman Godin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Comments on the pending motion?
Oh.
No?
None.
None. Okay. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Councilmember Mora,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve points 1 and 2 of staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. We will now move on to points 3 through 7 of staff's recommendation. I will open the public hearing at this time. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
Yes, Madam Mayor, our first speaker is Yvonne Mashak.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to protest the water increase. In light of the recession that we're in, it is truly a hardship on those of us that are on a fixed income. Myself, feel that this increase is not in a timely manner. I think the gentleman or someone was talking about a $4 increase, and then someone else said it's going to be 4%. 4% does not constitute $4. So I'm asking you to please, let's postpone this until such a time that our gas, our food, and the other things that we need desperately to live goes down. This is just really too much for us to have to deal with this time, with this war and conflict or whatever you want to call it going on. Thanks.
Our next speaker is Ced Weatherford.
That's all right. I got it. My name is Ced Weatherford. I've been a member of this community since the mid-'80s. I was part of the Liberty Village Ad Hoc Committee when it was
Okay. Sir, if you could hold on, if you could hold his time. What we did, hold on, I'm over here. We did not pass the item. What we did, listen, give me a second. What we did was pass that the council read it, understood it, and then we're moving forward. So in other words, I can't come back to you and say, well, I didn't know what I was voting on. That's what we voted on. We heard from staff. Staff told us everything. We acknowledged publicly that staff told us everything. That's what we acknowledged. Right now, this is where you're telling us. There is still a vote in front of us. We did not pass it, sir. We passed it that we got the paperwork on it, that we got. That's okay. No, sir. Now, this is why your vote is here. So if you would continue your speech on this. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, my point being is that I have taken my water bill from the last 5 months and I've gone through your increase. I was here long enough to understand that the two-tier system back when it was installed was to encourage the consumer to not use as much water because of the desert and the lack of water. Now, it looks like you're turning it around. You're getting rid of the two-tier system and you're going back to a flat rate, which basically increases the consumer who has the three-quarter water pipe system, but the housing and the consumer, I'm sorry, the construction and the industry, their rate is going down. So my thinking is, how about a moratorium on all the frickin' gas stations that are only required to recycle 60%? You guys are putting up, someone's, a load of warehouses that's bringing in more people, and we've got a ton of new housing tracts that's going to take and require more water. You're encouraging water usage, and then you're putting the bill on us, and we're not doing anything but trying to make a living. And I don't understand why it can't be a give and take, and there be some sort of control as to what's going on up here, as far as the amount of water usage, the amount of people that are coming up, and the industry, and everything.
Your time is up. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And please forgive me if I mispronounce this. Wan Vong?
But I don't know how can I say. No, because I don't know how can I say, because my house is burned, but they still charge my water and sanitation. I don't know why they still charge.
Can I ask the public, please, to take it down a notch?
Can I have what?
I'm having trouble hearing you with people talking behind you.
No, I just said my house is burned, and they still charge me the water and sanitation fee every month.
Okay. Sir, this is to do with our water rates. That would have been public comment, Mr. Metzler?
It could be up for item number 4 as well. He noted both
But I never
resolutions.
use the water. I never dump anything. I don't. I'm not. I don't. My house burned. I don't have anything to dump outside. Let them pick up.
Okay.
I live all kind of city, all kind a lot of city.
Hold on.
Nobody charge for the people not live over there.
If we,
That's my house is burned.
Hold on.
if we have your name and number on the card, which I believe we do, we'll make sure that we have somebody contact you in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I pay them every year, all the time. But right now they raise up more than $40, and then I don't pay them about one year, 2 years. But when I bought it, it's burned, already burned.
We'll have someone get with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Please,
very much.
please step forward so we can get your number. Our next
Folks, can I
speaker
ask the public to please keep your conversations down? Let's give each other the courtesy of being heard by the council.
Our next speaker is Deborah Martin.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Martin. My address is 12033 Andrews Place, and I'm here to formally oppose the increase in rates. I'm a senior. Rates are going up, but the money is not going up. And that's just not for me, but family and friends are here, and there are seniors in our neighborhood, and we can't afford those rates. I want to know what the district is deciding to, have you thought about administrative cuts? But yet you want to increase us 4% all the way to 2031. I'm just asking that you would consider it because people are hurting. People have families. Everything's increasing and we don't need our water to increase. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next speaker is Deanna Edwards.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to speak today to all of you. My name is Deanna Edwards, and I came to oppose the measure. I don't believe that that increase should actually increase. I recently got sick, and I'm not making enough income to actually pay another increase on top of the water bill, plus the other utilities that come in, and medical bills. And I know that a lot of my neighbors are also down and they're sick and disabled too, that are having this issue with increase with the water rates. I think it's very unfair to just put the total balance upon the citizens here in Victorville. I just feel that it's unfair. So I rest my case. And have a good evening.
Our next speaker is Tatiana McDowell. Tatiana McDowell. That concludes our speakers, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I will now direct the city clerk to count and report the number of written protests that has come in.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can we take a 3-minute recess while I open the protest ballots?
Yes, ma'am. At this time, we're going to take a 3-minute recess. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Good to go? I will call the meeting back to order. Madam Clerk, have the ballots been tabulated, and does a majority protest exist?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, the ballots have been tabulated. We have received 38 protest ballots, with the majority protest needed to be 19,433. Staff will verify before placing the appropriate numbers in the resolution, the validity of each protest ballot. With that, no majority protest exists. However, Madam Mayor, since we have not closed the public hearing, we have received two individuals that would like to speak on items 3 and 4.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Proceed.
Richard Smith. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is item 2. Please forgive me. We will call you on item 3. Sorry, Madam Mayor. We can move forward.
We can move forward. Okay. At this time, I will now close the public hearing. I will invite a motion for point 7 of staff's recommendation, being that items 1 through 6 have already been handled. Motion to approve and adopt staff's recommendation. Comments on the pending motion, Mayor Pro Tem Harriman? Councilwoman Mora?
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Godan?
I do think it is important to reiterate that the change from the tiered system is a requirement by the state, and that requirement is making us have to readjust some of the numbers. And so I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. That's all.
Thank you. Councilman Irving?
I want to thank my colleague for clarifying why we are taking this action. And I do understand what people are saying. Initially, as I stated before, I had some concerns myself, but understanding the model that was used to help us arrive at what would be fair and impartial to meet the threshold of equity, I think we did a good job because we have like the second lowest water rate in the county. So with that, I do understand, but I had to get a clearer understanding. So whatever the decision I make is made in good faith as it relates to me representing the people of Victorville. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Irving. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve points 7 of staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 3, adoption of resolution number VWD 26-010, annual assessments for unpaid water fees. Mr. Metzger, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This is an item that we bring back to you around this time of every year, so generally routine in nature. And as a part of our internal accounting processes, we do an annual reconciliation of amounts owing for, in this particular case, we're dealing with water bills not having been paid or partially paid with amounts outstanding. And so every year we tally up all of the bills that are unpaid and initiate a noticing process to ratepayers, reminding them that the amounts are owed, but also ultimately advising that if the amounts go unpaid, the amounts would actually be levied against the property in lien fashion. And so this item would effectively allow us to proceed in leaning for the amounts, the individual amounts for the properties. Currently, there's approximately $768,000 in owing unpaid water fees. We do have flexibility to accept those up until about July 28th. And upon the passing of July 28th, then if this item's approved, it would authorize us to proceed submitting necessary documentation to the assessor's office so that the amounts owing can be levied. And so with that, this item has been authored by your finance director, Ms. Star Kevanyan, and she's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable Victorville Water District Board of Directors conduct the public hearing and receive testimony for the adoption of the proposed resolution number VWD 26-010, close the public hearing, adopt resolution number VWD 26-010 entitled a resolution of the Victorville Water District, City of Victorville adding delinquent non-paid charges to the annual taxes levied upon the property for which the charges are delinquent and unpaid, and authorize the Director of Finance to execute the agreement for collection of special taxes, fees, and assessments with the county.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Mora,
I have no questions, thank you.
Councilwoman Godian,
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Irving,
No questions, thank you.
Mayor Tim Harriman,
I have none.
and I have none. I'll open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
Yes, our first speaker is Richard Smith.
Yeah, first I'd like to say that it's the first time I've been to a council meeting, so I'm probably totally unaware with all the procedures and everything that happens, but, and I'm hoping I'm saying this right. As far as the water rates were concerned, I don't have a problem with the water rates. I'm looking at my last bill, my water rates were $19. But I go down and I see wastewater, and the wastewater is $71. I'm going, I only use, $19 worth of water, and my wastewater rate is $71, and then I go down to my meter, and my meter rate is $25, almost $26. And I don't know whether this is the appropriate time to speak about that, but that's what I want to say. And I would think that from what I understand, the industries pay the wastewater based upon how much water they use. I'm going, why isn't it the same for residential? My wife and I are retired, and we use very little water. And I don't know if this is the time to address this or not, but my trash, I put it out every 3 weeks. I got my neighbors that are putting out, and their cans are overflowing every week, but I'm getting charged the same rate. So I'm going, something needs to be done to address that situation. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker is Nabil Ahmed.
Good evening. This is my first council meeting, so I apologize if I'm out of line or anything like that. My name is Nabil Ahmed. I'm a property manager here in Victorville. I've been doing property management for 20 years now. And really, I'm here to get clarity on how we're going to address unpaid water bills by tenants, because my clients are in jeopardy of having already liens placed on their properties, and then those liens are being assessed as of the 28th, I believe, or 29th, towards their property taxes. Now, this problem arose initially with COVID because, during that time, the city of Victorville and I think the state of California decided that we cannot shut water off on people who are not paying their bills. Well, that is extended until now. And I don't know if you know, but the only recourse that we have as property owners, as landlords, is to, file eviction against these tenants who are delinquent on their water and trash bills. Now, all of our lease agreements stipulate that the tenant is responsible for all utilities, including water and trash. Now, if they don't pay their SEE bill, Southern California Edison cuts their power off. And I used to be a tenant here in Victorville as well. And back then, if I was a month and a day late on paying my water and trash, the city of Victorville would cut off, the water service, which obviously I made that up. I paid that immediately. And I think people still would if that were imposed. Now, I'd like to be able to go back to my clients and let them know that moving forward, if these tenants do not pay their bill, that these services will be disconnected. Another thing that I'm concerned about is that the tenants are not held responsible in regards to like their credit being affected by unpaid water and trash. Ultimately, the fact that the water is continuously supplied to these people, even though they don't, and I don't mean to say these people, I advocate for my tenants as well, but the water is continuously supplied to them without payment and without penalty. And our clients and myself as a property manager cannot go to the house and disconnect service, even though ultimately we're going to be held responsible for those unpaid bills. So I don't know if anybody can provide any clarity that I can take back to my clients in regards to this.
Your time is up.
We certainly can, and I mean, we can do it now, but I think you're going to get the best to and fro, probably with Mr. Matthews, who's to your left, and he can either meet with you after this conversation or even set up some time tomorrow to talk that through with you at greater detail.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Mr. Ahmed, did you still want to speak on item 4, or does this cover both 3?
Oh, yeah, I apologize. I think it covers both.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There are no additional speakers on this item.
Thank you very much. At this time now, I will close the public hearing.
Sorry, we have somebody with their hand up in the back. Can you please come forward?
Thank you for having me, and good evening. I was not aware of the process that I had to. I was not aware of the process. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, well, good evening, and thank you for having me. I was not aware of the process that I had to fill it out to speak, if I can be allowed. I inherited a property I've lived in for 13 years. My mother and father passed away. The water bill is going to the tax roll.
Can you please speak into the microphone? It's really hard to hear you.
Yes, the water bill is going into the tax roll, as you were stating earlier. I like to resolve this matter. I wasn't able to resolve it with the clerk's office because it was coming up here for hearing. So if there's something that I can do or that you guys can do and get a hold of me so I can get this water bill turned into my name and pay the fees, arrange something so it doesn't go to the tax roll.
Mr. Metzler?
Star Kavanyan is just behind you to your right, and she's our finance director. She can help coordinate with you to get that handled and ultimately get your bill paid.
Thank you. I really appreciate it for your time.
Thanks, sir.
Have a great evening.
Are there any additional speakers in the audience on this item? No additional speakers, Madam Mayor. Oh, nope.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to bring a little attention to passing the bill that the possibility of homeowners losing their homes because the levy goes against their house and then it goes towards the mortgage. And then if they're not able to pay, homeowners not able to pay a water bill, and you increase the mortgage because you levy the bill against their homes, they may not be able to pay their mortgage, and then it'll be a problem with people losing their homes. I see that there's like we're looking for a resolution, but I like how the gentleman previously spoke about, being a day late or something after the bill and just getting it cut off and giving that home, the people in there, time to, find the money, fund the money, because when you are giving people resources that they're not paying for and they don't have to necessarily be responsible for in the moment, then it becomes like a sense of laziness in them, and there's no repercussions. And I mean, homeowners are losing their homes, but how the other person was saying, tenants or people who are reaping the benefits of living in the home without paying their bills. So I just hope I can enlighten some people, or and encourage maybe not to pass, just because it's gonna affect ultimately the homeowners. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one final call. Are there any additional speakers on this item? Come on up. Could you please state your name for the record?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Lee Florida Leslie.
Lee Florida Leslie.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity. I did not come to speak. I came to listen. However, that was a touchy subject for me when the prior gentleman spoke on it. But I am asking for assistance for somebody that is a senior citizen myself. What I did find out when I did inquire was that at 62, I could have some type of discount, I think $10 or $15 off a bill. That's not enough. Then I found out, like him, I don't have that much trash. So there's no need for me to put out my trash. I could reduce the trash can size capacity by, I think they said, to a smaller can, you get $15 off. That's not enough. It's one person in my home. I'm a senior citizen, just got laid off from a position that I was in for over 10 years. I've been up here in the high desert since 2010. And this bill has continued to increase, and I paid it. But you're getting to a point where I can't afford this bill, and I need some type of resolution from you that represents me. Somebody said it earlier, Councilman, that you want to represent me. That's not representing me as a senior citizen if I don't have any options to keep my water bill going, if that makes sense. So if you can give me some solutions on that, I really would appreciate it. Thank you.
Beans, I did last call just a minute ago. That concludes our public comments.
I will now close the public hearing, and I'll invite a motion for this item. Motion to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda.
Second.
Comments on the pending motion? Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
I have no comments.
Councilwoman Mora?
I have no comments also.
Councilwoman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving?
No comments, thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve points 3 and 4 of staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 4, adoption of resolution number 26-052, annual assessment of unpaid rubbish collection, sewer use fees, storm drain fees, and hazardous waste fees, and/or Assembly Bill 939 recycling fees. Mr. Metzger, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This item is similar in nature, as it's basically attending to the same issues as we just dealt with under the previous item, which was specific to the business of the Victorville Water District. Now we're acting in the capacity of the city of Victorville as it relates to city-related services such as the sewer fees, storm drain fees, hazardous waste fees, and recycling fees. And so with that, this item also aggregates all of the outstanding amounts, then identifies them for you on a parcel by parcel basis as to amounts remaining outstanding. And with the approval of this item, will also similarly be processed through the assessor's office to be levied against the properties and collected through the property tax collection process. With that, I think it's important to note that we go through quite a bit of effort and actually do a lot of accommodations during the year, especially for hardships. We meet with customers regularly, so we do have a process to actually work directly with customers, actually establish workout arrangements, especially when hardship is experienced. We do have those processes in place, so there's certainly opportunities that help avoid getting to this point. So I think it's important as a part of our overall administration. We do a lot to try to avoid getting to this point. And so with that, similar to the previous, this item has been authored by your Finance Director, Ms. Star Kevanyan, and she's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council conduct the public hearing and receive testimony for the adoption of the proposed resolution number 26-052, close the public hearing, adopt resolution number 26-052, entitled A Resolution of the City Council of Victorville, California, making determination and confirming assessments and proceedings for unpaid rubbish collection, sewer user fees, storm drain fees, hazardous waste fees, and/or Assembly Bill 939 recycling fees, and authorize the Director of Finance to execute the agreement for collection of special taxes, fees, and assessments with the county.
Thank you. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Godin?
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Mora?
I guess I do have a question. This is just standard protocol, right? To put a lien on the property, and that just means that the homeowner cannot borrow money or sell their house, things like that, until they pay this fee. It's not going to impact their mortgage, right, when they put the lien?
It will be levied against a property, and ultimately it's to be collected through the eventual transfer in property, if I'm recalling correctly, or is it through the transfer in the property?
Okay. Okay, so, and then we've already paid all these fees as a city, and we're just catching up, and it's standard policy annually to complete this?
We've already incurred the cost for the actual provision of services, so yes. And so this is basically a process to be able to recover those costs that we've already incurred.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Councilwoman Irby?
No question, nothing.
Mayor Potem Harriman?
Yeah, I'm going to ask a couple questions that I know the answers to, but in the interest of people in the audience, some of the people left, I wish they would have stayed. Keith, when these delinquent rates, they don't go after they just go unpaid for 2 months, go as a lien against the house. It takes a long time for it to get to this point, correct?
Yeah, we only do this once a year. And so if, for example, you were delinquent on, say, this month's water bill and maybe even next month's water bill, you'll get notices from us that you're late. And of course, you'll realize you'll be assessed penalties associated with being late. But those amounts will accrue. We won't lien the property right away. We won't actually do it until this time next year. And so certainly if you experience hardship this month and next month to where you experience that, certainly we encourage people to contact us directly, because we can actually establish some type of workout arrangement. But yes, we would not actually lien the property until this time next year, when we just do it all in one large batch.
And then I have a question. Does the lien go to the property taxes or to the mortgage? Or not the mortgage, but the title?
No, the lien goes to be added in the property tax.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then, my last question, just kind of answer Tim. The wastewater is the sewer, correct?
That's correct.
That's all I have.
Okay, we can't go back and forth, Bob. So,
I
I'm
can,
done.
I can generally speak to that, and I'm sorry, I should have, responded to that as part of the preamble. So, you know, the sewer rates, for example, there's certainly much more involved. You know, there's two components to the sewer rate. You know, we as ratepayers see one rate, but it's paying for two different operations. First, there's an actual cost associated with operating and maintaining the collection system, the actual physical pipes in the ground that, say in a residential customer's case, the houses physically connect to, and it's the actual pipeline system that we operate and maintain, make sure is clear, free of clogs, debris, things of that nature. It's the conveyance system. So inside that rate, there's a component that pays for the operation and maintenance of the pipes. But then separately, there's a treatment component. And that is the larger part of the total rate, where there's a pretty significant physical operation that has to occur basically to remove all of the stuff that's in the water, all of the material. And it's a large physical filtration process. A lot of chemicals are required ultimately to be able to get that water to a clean enough state where we can actually dispose of that water back into the ground. So much more involved process. But what we do with the rates, similar to water, is, you know, there is a uniform rate based upon customer class. And so the rate plan, just like water, is a rate plan that really is structured in such a way to establish a fair, equitable rate for all customer classes. So residential user would be a customer class. And so the charges are actually created equally for each of those respective customers. And that's how we rate model or structure the rates, so that at the end of the day, there's sufficient amount of money collected by the ratepayers to pay for those treatment works and the physical operation and maintenance of the pipes.
That's
Thank
all
you.
I have. Sorry.
thank you, sir. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
I have no speaker cards on this item, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I will now close the public hearing, and I'll invite a motion for this item.
Move to adopt staff recommendation as to points 3 and 4 as presented in the agenda.
Second.
I have a first by Councilwoman Godan, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Harriman. Councilwoman Godan, comments on the pending motion?
No comments.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving?
No comments, thank you.
Councilwoman Mora?
No comments, thank you.
I do have a comment. Folks, I get it. Everything has gone up. Gas, water, light, gasoline in your car. But we pay these bills. From water and trash, $2,400,000 have already been paid out of our coffers to cover these bills. When they come to pick up your trash, they don't say, well, Liz didn't pay, so you don't have to pay. No, Liz got her trash picked up. Liz didn't pay, so the city has to pay it. We do what we can. We give you 1 year. There's other locations out there to help you out on your bills, those of us that are senior citizens and are retired. We're doing what we can, smaller cans, smaller with the water, they are working on it. Don't just take it, call them. Figure out how we can handle. Our director of water has already walked out twice to try to see what we can do. That's all the comments I have. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve points 3 and 4 of staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 5, consideration of resolution number VWD 26-005 and VWD 26-006, of the Board of Directors of the Victorville Water District, making a determination to fix, levy, and collect standby charges for fiscal year 2026, 2027. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This item involves standby benefit assessments that are levied against properties in areas that we've inherited and referred to as WID 1 and WID 2, WID 1 being the former Victor Valley Water District boundaries and WID 2 being the former Baldy Mesa Water District boundaries. Both of those districts were basically consolidated and inherited by the Victorville Water District, which is governed by the Victorville City Council. But as these benefit assessments have been levied for many, many years, and the actual revenues generated from these benefit assessments are relied upon as a component inside your rate plans, we've continued on an annual basis complying with the Prop 218 requirement to basically reestablish the rates and reapply them as we're required to do so on an annual basis. And so the benefit assessment in the case of WID 1 is basically to serve as a levy for undeveloped properties that enjoy the benefit of having a public water system in close proximity within 660 feet of the properties. And so it's been determined that a $10 per acre charge be levied against those properties. This charge is the same charge as the previous fiscal year, and it's been the same charge for many, many years, and so there's no recommendation to increase that rate. In the case of WID 2, the inherited benefit assessment there is $15 per acre. It's been the same charge for many, many years, and in this item, there's no recommended change to that $15 per acre. In the case of WID 2, slightly different in that benefit assessment gets levied against all properties in the WID 2 boundaries. And so with that, this item was last discussed with the council on June 16th, where the council directed the initiating of the proceedings to levy these standby charges. So this is your meeting to effectively do that. And then finally, the rate plan that you just approved in the previous items, or in the previous item, does depend upon the revenues collected from these benefit assessments. And so with that, this item has been authored by your Director of Public Works and Water, Mr. Doug Matthews, and he's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable Victorville Water District Board of Directors open and conduct a public hearing, receive testimony for the adoption of proposed resolution numbers VWD 26-005 and VWD 26-006, close the public hearing, adopt resolution number VWD 26-005 entitled A Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Victorville Water District making its determination to fix, levy, and collect standby charges for Water Improvement District Number 1 for fiscal year 2026-2027. Adopt resolution number VWD 26-006 entitled A Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Victorville Water District making its determination to fix, levy, and collect standby charges for Water Improvement District Number 2 for fiscal year 2026-2027, and authorize the Director of Finance / City Treasurer to execute all documents related to the implementation and the levying of standby charge fees for Water Improvement District 1 and Water Improvement District 2.
Thank you, ma'am. Technical questions from council members. Councilwoman Mora?
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving?
I don't have any. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mayor Protem Harriman?
I have none.
And I have none. I'll open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there any request to speak?
Madam Clerk, I have no, Madam Mayor, I have no signature, speaker cards for this item.
Thank you. I will now close the public hearing and invite a motion for this item. Motion to adopt staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda.
Second.
The first by Mayor Becerra and a second by Councilwoman Irving. Councilwoman Irving, comments on the pending motion?
No comments. Thank you.
Councilwoman Godin?
None, thank you.
Councilwoman Mora?
None, thank you.
Mayor Potem Harriman.
I have none.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin.
Yes.
Councilmember Irving.
Yes.
Councilmember Mora.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve points 3 through 5 of staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. We'll now move on to the consent calendar, items 6 through 17. I'll invite a
I'll-
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'll
go ahead.
move to approve items 6 through 17.
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin.
Yes.
Councilmember Irving.
Yes.
Councilmember Mora.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action on items 6 through 17 in accordance with the recommendation as set forth on the agenda. We'll move on to written communication. We're going to start with item 23. Hold on. I got to move. Should have had it ready. Water Master Plan Update, approve and adopt. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. As mentioned earlier in this agenda, the water district depends upon a water master plan as a part of its long-range planning, which is also used to help guide funding policy for improvements to the system, the water system, over the course of the next 10 years. And so with that, this is foundational to your rate plan. We do have a brief presentation, and though the item is authored by your Director of Public Works and Water, Doug Matthews, and your City Engineer, Freddie Bonilla, certainly they're going to be available for any questions or comments you might have. But we also have a presentation by Ms. Lane Carlson with WSC, who's worked with us over the years on these master plans. So she certainly has a presentation on this update for you.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Give me just a moment. They changed my screen.
Do you want me to back it up, ma'am?
That's okay. That the Honorable Victorville Water District Board of Directors approve and adopt the 2026 Water Master Plan Update.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Lane Carlson with WSC as the project manager for the development of this 2026 Water Master Plan update. Going to advance this slide in just a minute here. While we get that going, I can start with the overall purpose of this Water Master Plan update is to prepare for future growth, which is important for a growing city because part of this is maintaining existing level of service for your existing customers while also managing and preparing for growth. So that's one of the key things that we look at, as well as looking at each of the water system assets and making sure that the capacity of those assets can support the customer's needs and the regulatory requirements. And then the conclusion of the master plan presents a 10-year CIP, which is used to inform budgeting and rate setting. And so it was developed in close coordination throughout that process. Nope. Okay.
You have this one?
Yeah, I have a copy here.
There we go.
Would you like me to continue? Okay. All right. So in planning for a growing community, we look at, so this master plan looks at a 10-year period, but to put everything in context, we look at growing population for the next 50 years so that we can see, see further ahead and make sure that we're recommending appropriate investments for the long term. And what we'll see is definitely an increase in population over time, really consistent with what the city has been seeing over the last 10 years. We're not expecting to see much of a decline in population increase. And so because of that, it is really important to make sure that the water system is prepared for those additional demands so that it doesn't erode the level of service that you're offering to your existing customers as development occurs. So an interesting trend is that the water demands are actually projected to grow at a slower rate than the population. And the reason for that is enhanced conservation requirements that come from the state and that are included in current building codes. So when new developments comply with current building codes, they're automatically as efficient as possible. And so what we're actually planning for a lower water demand increase than we have in previous plans, which is reflecting the latest conservation regulations coming from the state. Let me give this a second. Oh, all right. So the process for the water master plan, what we do is we establish a valuation criteria for each of the assets. So we look at reservoirs, wells, booster stations, pipelines, meters, and then we compare the level of service and the regulatory requirements with the capacity that the existing system has. And so the fundamental conclusion of the master plan is that when we do that, we see that the water system is really in a strong position for reliable service through 2035 and beyond. The capacity is good. You have more than enough to serve existing customers as well as the expected growth within the next 10 years.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but could you please tell us what slide you need to be on? And if you cue us by next slide, they'll move it for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Slide 5,
madam.
please.
Slide 5?
Yes. Yeah, this one. So capacity of all the critical water infrastructure is more than sufficient for current customers and expected growth. The district is positioned for regulatory compliance. All of the water quality is exceeding state and federal requirements with minimal blending and treatment. So you're really very fortunate in that way to have high quality groundwater in this area. And the level of service is very good across the system. So in terms of reliability, service pressure to individual customers is very good. There are a few areas where we're recommending targeted improvements to improve pressure, for certain neighborhoods or fire flow for some of those older areas that were built with smaller pipes. And then in terms of supply and resilience, supply is more than sufficient to meet demands through 2035. But there are a couple of opportunities that were identified to add additional supplies to increase resilience. So under normal circumstances, plenty of supply. But if something were to go wrong, some supplies were to be out for unexpected reasons, it really adds a lot of reliability to have a little bit more flexibility. All right, slide 6, please. So with those conclusions in mind, the key recommendations in the Water Master Plan can be categorized into kind of 3 buckets. So the first one is asset renewal and infrastructure replacement. So because you're relying on all of this existing capacity to serve your current and future customers, it's really important to maintain all of those critical facilities in good working order. And that helps to extend the useful life of those investments and prevent those kind of unexpected and sharp increases in operating costs. And so that's critical for, rate stability as well. Second one is operational resilience and emergency preparedness. So again, in a very good position now, but expanding access to backup power, some additional supplies is going to make the district more resilient so that you can continue to serve customers if anything unexpected happens. And some site security investments have really risen to the top as well to really limit vandalism and again, those unexpected maintenance costs and protecting existing facilities. And maintaining reliable, sustainable service, supporting ongoing regulatory compliance in terms of water quality and conservation. And like I mentioned, really some targeted improvements to preserve and enhance level of service across the city so that all of your customers are getting, the same or better level of service. My last slide is really just a summary by category of the recommended investments. And you'll see that all of the shaded green bars there towards the bottom are those fundamental investments in maintaining the existing assets. So rehabilitation and replacement of those existing wells, reservoirs, and other facilities are really anchoring the investments. And then some additional site security, pipeline, and new supply facilities to improve level of service. So that concludes the presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilwoman Irving?
No, I don't really have any questions. You did mention within the plan to increase, I think you said water pressure in certain neighborhoods. I appreciate that from my own personal background. And I want to thank you for this lovely presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Mora,
Thank you for the presentation, but I don't have any questions.
Councilman Godian,
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have no questions, thanks.
and I have none. I'll invite a motion for this item. Motion to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda.
Second.
Oh, everybody second.
Everybody second, no one first.
Who you recognizing as the second? There was three of them.
Councilwoman Irving.
Thank you.
Comments on the pending motion, again, very well put together. I wish they would have gave this to the public first. Everybody left. Councilwoman Irving,
I already made my comments. Thank you.
Councilman Godian,
I have none. Thank you.
Councilwoman Mora,
I have none, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. That was very informative. I would just like to say we have a great water department. Mr. Matthews does a fantastic job, and all his staff, everybody. I see our water department working so hard all around our city every day, and they're right on top of things. You know, I have a home in a different city in Arizona, and when there's a water leak coming up out of the asphalt, it seems like it does it for a week before anybody gets to it. But here, it's a different story. So I want to commend Mr. Matthews and our water department for a fantastic job, and that's all I have.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godian,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Councilmember Mora,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Now we'll go back to item 18, budget amendment for various strike team deployments during the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Mr. Metzger, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. As you know, as a part of our operations as a fire department, we do participate with the state of California and provide assistance for fires across the state when called upon and when needed. And so as we do get called out of the city to respond to fires, we do get reimbursed for our costs for deployment. And so with that, on an annual basis, and this is the annual reconciliation, because we don't know the level of call-outs we're going to have in a year, and it's also hard to predict not only the revenue that we're going to be reimbursed and the expenses are going to be incurred, we basically bring an item like this to serve as an annual reconciliation. And so in this particular case, it's dealing with a number of incidents that we've actually responded to on Cal OES callouts, and it identifies the revenues received in response to our support, and also compares it against the actual expenses. And so really this item is an appropriation to both the expense and revenue side of the budget, recognizing those revenues and costs. So with that, the item is authored by your fire chief, Mr. Bobby Clemmer, and he's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council adopt Resolution Number 26-049 to amend the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget, appropriating additional revenue in the amount of $234,292.56 and expenses in the amount of $154,753.05 for said strike team deployments.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Irving?
I don't really have any question. Well, I do, but it's not really totally related to this item. It is that season. Do we ever deploy outside of the state?
We are right now. That is correct. Bobby, you want to come up and talk to the council about it? Since you
I
asked.
promise that we didn't, yeah. Fire chief and I didn't talk before the meeting, okay?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Yeah, it's a little bit rare. We've gone to New Mexico, and then we're currently in Oregon right now with our OES engine.
Oh, okay. I was just curious because I got a chance to see the Cottonwood in action in Utah, And I want, yeah.
So did I actually.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, I was up there, drove right by it.
Okay, okay. I was just wondering, you guys came to mind. Please be safe out there because we need you here at home.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate
right.
it.
That's it. I just was curious. Okay.
Councilwoman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Mora?
No questions, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Is it, do we get paid in timely fashion or do we gotta wait like a year?
They're pretty good. Usually it's around, it can be as quick as a couple months, but up to 6 months. And then depending if it's a complex incident, it could be a little bit longer, but they've been very, very responsive in the last couple years for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Either Mr. Metzler or Bobby, is this a special crew? In other words, can any firefighter be sent, or no, there's special training, special crews that are sent to these types of fires?
There's annual qualifications. They go through a physical test, and everybody across the board is qualified to go out. So a captain, engineer, and either 1 to 2 firefighters, depending on staffing availability.
Okay. All right, that's it. I'll invite a motion for this item. Thank you, sir.
Move to adopt staff recommendation as presented in the agenda.
Second.
I have a first by Councilman Godin, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Harriman. Councilman Godin, comments on the pending motion?
I have none.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, I would just like to say we have a fantastic fire department. So generous, aren't we?
Councilwoman Mora?
I just want to thank all of our firefighters for what they do for our community and being good neighbors to our state and sister states.
Councilman Irving?
I don't really have any comments. I think I made them already. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Godin,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Councilmember Mora,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Madam Clerk, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Back into session. We'll move on to item 19. Lease agreement between the City of Victorville and the Victor Valley Transit Authority for the Victor Valley Transportation Center. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and members of the council. The Transit Center is approximately 6,700 square foot facility that is owned by the city of Victorville down in Old Town on 6th and D Street. And so with that, we do have a current lease with the VVTA where they're occupying the Transit Center facility and leasing and actually paying pursuant to a current lease that comes due this September, the end of this September. And so with that, we've been working with the VVTA to negotiate a new lease. And so effectively, this item attends to that or deals with that new lease where we've come to terms with a new 5-year contract beginning October 1st of this year with an increased rate over the current rate, an annual rate of about $107,000 a year. For the occupancy of that facility. It's a contract that also includes a 2% annual inflationary factor to be applied on the annual basis going forward. And so with that, this item has been authored by your Deputy City Manager, Ms. Janelle Davidson. She's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council adopt resolution number 26-068, authorizing and approving the lease agreement between the City of Victorville and the Victor Valley Transit Authority for the Victor Valley Transportation Center, and authorize the Deputy City Manager to execute said lease agreement.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council member. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, isn't 2% kind of low? Or are we just being really generous?
I wouldn't say we're being generous. It's low, but it's one of those negotiable terms, and certainly considering the higher amount paid principally on the lease, that all factors in. And so we chose to try to push for as high of a lease price as possible and give on the inflationary factor.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilwoman Godin?
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Mora?
Just to confirm, VVTA will be responsible for like the janitorial cleaning services, maintaining exterior paint and signage. That's their responsibility, not ours.
Correct.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
Councilwoman Irving?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Metzler, VVTA serves the entire city of Victorville. We don't run our own bus station or our own buses, correct?
That is correct.
So we're actually hand in hand in this transportation center, correct?
We are. I mean, we're certainly the owner of the facility, but certainly the services VVTA provides benefits our residents here in Victorville. As you know, we're also a member of the JPA that governs the Victor Valley Transit Authority, where not only are they providing services to Victorville, they're also providing services to the neighboring jurisdictions, including Barstow, and also providing services to our constituents in transportation down the hill. And so with that, they have a much broader responsibility than we have here in Victorville, in that they operate a larger geographic system.
And with them now having their own police department at at VVTA and on the buses, it's kind of helped the whole entire area, correct? Because they have over 2,000 meet and greets with the people down there, and they had 60 arrests last month alone.
And certainly as a goal of VVTA, they've had a desire to do everything they can to make the rider experience a much more safe one. And so the VVTA has contracted with and still contracts with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, where deputies are available to them at either stations or on the bus. They do participate in the ridership experience.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll invite a motion for this item.
I'll move to approve staff recommendation as it pertains to items 1 and 2.
Second.
First by Mayor Pro Tem Harriman, a second by Councilman Godin. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman, comments on the pending motion?
I have none.
Councilman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Mora?
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Irving?
No comments, thank you.
I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godam.
Yes.
Councilmember Irving.
Yes.
Councilmember Mora.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 20, Mojave Desert Air Quality Management District Carl Moyer Program Clean Air Fund Grant. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This item, we worked very closely with the Sheriff's Department for Victorville to actually apply for this grant and identify the need for this grant to help fund the purchase of 5 e-bikes that will actually help enhance our response service throughout this community. And so with that, working with the Sheriff's Office, we were successful in being awarded $40,000. And so this item is dealing with the acceptance of those funds and the appropriation of those funds. And so with that, this item had been co-authored by your Deputy City Manager, Mr. Tony Camargo, along with your Police Captain, Mr. Jerry Davenport. Captain Davenport is not here. We have Lieutenant Travis Randolph. They're both available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council adopt Resolution Number 26-069, accepting grant funds for the Carl Moyer Program Clean Air Fund and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute all grant documents and administer the overall project, and adopt Resolution Number 26-070, amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2026-2027 to reflect an additional appropriation in the amount of $40,000.
Thank you. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Irving?
I don't have any questions, but I found this to be rather fascinating. The bike enforcement team. Thank you.
Councilman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Mora?
I have none, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, so we're gonna see these like at the parades and special events.
Certainly, it's a tool that we can use for those types of events. I think principally we're going to use them to help enhance our response out in the field, perhaps even patrol. Old Town is an area, for example, that we're very much interested in potentially using these to actually get into the neighborhoods as well. But certainly another tool that we can use to better respond, establish presence and respond in our special events.
Okay, thank you.
I'll invite a motion for this item.
Move to adopt staff recommendation as to points 1 and 2 is presented on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, first by Councilwoman Godin, a second by Councilwoman Irving. Councilwoman Godin.
Is Mora.
So, Councilmember Moore.
Councilwoman Mora, sorry. I heard it from this side. Councilwoman Godin, comments on the pending motion?
I think this is great, and I'm excited to see them out there hopefully within a few months.
Councilwoman Mora?
I'm also excited, more tools for public safety, and I'm really thrilled about that. So thank you, staff, for securing that grant.
Councilwoman Irving?
I've already made comments. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, I think this is great. If you go down to the beach and, you know, you'll see this kind of thing, and I think it's I think it's a good idea.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin.
Yes.
Councilmember Irving.
Yes.
Councilmember Mora.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 21, approval of a portable generator purchase. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. As a part of the operation and management of our water system, certainly at our storage facilities and even our production facilities, we do have to prepare for the potential for an event of power loss. And to be able to keep our system operating during those events certainly depends upon the need for a temporary power system. And so this item particularly takes advantage of the Sourcewell contracting process that we have. And this item particularly is purchasing an additional portable generator from Quinn Power Systems. And so with that, the item has been authored by your Director of Public Works and Water, Mr. Doug Matthews, and he's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council and Board of Directors approve the purchase of a portable generator from Quinn Power Systems as the authorized distributor in the amount not to exceed $455,690.30 under Sourcewell Contract Number 092222-CAT.
Technical questions from council members. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, so obviously this thing's gonna move around. It's not gonna be taken off that chassis and permanently affixed.
My understanding is that it's going to be based principally at a certain location, but can be moved.
So, yeah, this one, where we keep it, generally it can be at a location we think would be most beneficial, but the idea is to be able to move it. We have 8 pressure zones, so where we need this in the event of a power outage, it may go from zone to zone to keep certain tanks full so we can keep all residents in water. So we have 3 now. This will be a 4th. There's still more in the master plan that we need down the road, but this gets us closer to our goal.
Okay, thanks.
Councilwoman Mora?
Looking at this, it shows that they did give us a 21% discount on the listing price, correct?
Correct.
Page 739. Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving?
No questions, thank you.
And Mr. Matthews, if I may, thank you for using Sourcewell. It saved us probably, what, 4 to 6 months of getting bids and figuring out the lowest bids, things like that?
Right, and came with a significant price savings as well.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your time and your staff's time. I'll invite a motion for this item. Motion to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda.
Second.
I have no comments on the pending motion. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
I have none.
Councilwoman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving?
No comments, thank you.
Councilwoman Mora?
No comments, thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 22, runway 17-35, reconstruction phase 6. Yes, I don't know my Roman numeral, 6. Project CC 26-043, change order RCO-001. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Actually, as the board, because in this item, we're actually acting in the capacity as Board of Directors to the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority. And in that area of responsibility, as you know, we're tasked with the redevelopment of the former George Air Force Base, and as we take on that role, we're ultimately responsible for the operation and maintenance of the airfield. And so with that, as you know, we operate an airfield that has 2 active runways, a primary runway, which is this runway, runway 1735, along with a crosswinds runway that's runway 321. As the primary runway, it's about 13,000 feet, and as in both cases, we inherited runways with that were constructed of materials that are not standard for the type of airport that we're operating today. So it's been a long-term project, as you can note from this being phase 6, as we have been very successful over the years receiving AIP grant money from the FAA to actually ultimately reconstruct the primary runway from asphalt material to concrete. And so with that, you'll recall that related to this item, we'd previously awarded a construction contract for the reconstruction of another segment of runway. And with that, as a part of that award of contract, it's funded by an FAA grant, and we are awarded a little over $13 million, about $13.6 million to fund the almost $9 million project. And so as we're at that point nearing completion, we are looking to expend as much of the remaining amounts available under the grant. And so with that, we've identified additional scope, particularly reconstructing the shoulders along the same segment of runway. And so with that, and as authorized by FAA to increase the scope to the order of 15%, this item is dealing with a change order, increasing the scope so that we can maximize the use of available monies under the grant. And so with that, the author on this item is Mr. James Morosky, and he's not here with us tonight, so I'll field any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority Board of Directors approve change order number RCO-001, change order to the construction contract with Kaufman Specialties, Inc. for runway 1735 reconstruction phase 6, project CC 26-043, and authorize the executive director to execute said change order.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from Councilmember. Councilmember Mora,
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Godin,
I have none.
Councilmember Irving.
I have a comment. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor Potem Harriman.
Yeah, we only have to match 5%,
With these types of grants, yes.
and this was needed to be done, but what nobody noticed until Kaufman was on the job and started doing the existing work they were originally hired to do.
Not exactly. When we scoped the project, we weren't aware of the amount that the FAA was intending to award us. And so we were really focused on the runway portion of the collective runway system. And so with that, the design work that we did and the actual bidding was focused on basically taking out the asphalt portions of the runway and replacing it with concrete. The shoulders are important, but they certainly aren't as critical as the actual runway sections itself. But with that being said, and having gotten to the point where we're completing the construction for the runway and we're not expecting to go over the total contract price, that's why we've started looking at adding additional scope. And so that's why we chose to take on the improvement to the shoulders so that we can basically maximize the use of what's available under the grant monies.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll invite a motion for this item.
Move to approve staff's recommendation as it pertains to point 1 and point 2.
Second.
I have a first by Mayor Potem Harriman, a second by Councilwoman Irving. Mayor Potem Harriman, comments on the pending motion?
I would just say, good job. That runway is almost redone, huh?
It's almost done, and once we're done with this, then we can start on the crosswalk.
That's all I have.
Councilwoman Irving?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Generally, I don't like to see change orders, but this one here, we did, I agree, great job. Matching funds, we're gonna get reimbursed by FAA. Okay, I like this one. Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Godin?
I also echo the sentiments of my fellow council members. Good job on this one. Excited to see this one move forward.
Councilwoman Mora?
Same thing, excellent job, staff, on securing these grants from the FAA. It's really commendable because I know that's not easy, so thank you.
Since all of them were reading my notes, congratulations to you and your staff, Keith, out there. We've seen this airport come a long way, so congratulations, and let's continue moving upward and out there, and maybe we can catch Southwest out there one day. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Protem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 23 was handled already. Item 24, support of legislation effort to pursue tort and proportionate liability reform. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Victorville, along with all public agencies throughout the state, including sheriff's departments, public agency, law enforcement departments throughout the state of California, we're all experiencing similar issues when it comes to claims being filed for a whole variety of different issues. And with that, as we're seeing the cost of insurance going up, and it's going up in part because the cost of business is going up, but also it's going up exponentially in large part due to not only the claims, but the nuclear verdicts we're seeing from juries as to the deep pockets that's perceived from public agencies when jury verdicts come out on a variety of different claims. And so with that, there's been an effort, there are efforts being discussed now to where public agencies are being asked to get together and really start pursuing an effort to advocate, educate, and try to encourage some form of a reform to the existing tort and proportionate liability laws that exist. And so with that, for this council to actually participate in some of those ongoing efforts, certainly the council would have to take position before we do that. And I think it's just important to note that there is no actual legislation that I'm aware of that's actually been drafted yet, but certainly this item would allow us to participate in the discussion to address the importance of having some reform in these areas. And so with that, I'm certainly available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council support legislation efforts to pursue tort and proportionate liability reform by authorizing the mayor to sign letters of support.
At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Irving?
I have a comment, but I don't have any questions. I'm in support of this. I'm glad that we're gonna take up this issue and consider getting involved and participating, getting on board with this effort. I think it's needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Godin?
I already had all my questions answered. Thank you.
Councilwoman Mora?
I have no questions, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
No questions.
I'll invite a motion for this item.
Second?
Move to adopt staff recommendation as presented in the agenda.
Second.
I have a first by Councilwoman Godin, a second by Councilwoman Mora. Councilwoman Godin, comments on the pending motion?
I have none.
Councilwoman Mora?
I just like to see us taking a proactive step. We know that using public funds and all of these increase in our liability really is taking a hit to all of our communities. So I'm really happy to see that the city is going to be more taking initiative on this and seeing you lead that, Madam Mayor. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Irving?
I echo the sentiments of my colleague. I'm glad that you're gonna participate.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
I have none.
And I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 25, Annual League of California Cities Voting Delegate and Alternate. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Annually, the League of California Cities has its annual conference, an annual business meeting. And at the annual business meeting, they do have an opportunity to discuss policy-related matters that have to go before the whole of the organization. And so with that, we don't yet know if they have an agenda yet or resolutions for the General Assembly to convene on. But once we learn of that, we'll share that information with you. But preparing for that, the league does require in advance that a primary and an alternate be formally designated by the respective jurisdictions that are participating. And so with that, this item would satisfy that requirement. And to the extent there is an actual General Assembly meeting on the Friday of the conference, it would certainly require the primary or the alternate in the absence of the primary to attend, and certainly authorize that member to attend and cast vote on behalf of the city. And so with that, this item has been brought forward by your city clerk, Ms. Jennifer Thompson. She and I are both available for any questions or comments you might have.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council designate the voting delegate and alternate or alternates for the League of California Cities Annual Conference and Expo, September 23 through 25, 2026.
Thank you. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Irving?
I don't have any questions. Is there someone that does not want to participate? Well, can I ask that question?
That's up to you, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
Someone that does not want to participate? Oh, you do want to?
I don't. Councilman Godin?
I have no questions.
Councilwoman Mora?
I have no questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Can I do a nomination?
Sure, go ahead.
I nominate myself.
I'll second. Do I need a second on that, Madam Clerk?
You can, or you guys can specify two individuals, one as the primary and one as the alternate, and then vote on it that way if you so choose.
Okay, very good. Can I modify that motion?
Sure.
I modify the motion. I move that we designate Mayor Pro Tem Harriman and Councilwomen Mora and Godin. Girl, I can't say your name. All right, you know what I mean. Okay. Gowden as the two alternates.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion to put Mayor Pro Tem Harriman as the primary, with the alternate being Councilmember Mora and Councilmember Godin.
Yes.
So we have a first and a second on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are we doing comments on the pending motion?
Comments on the pending motion?
No comment.
No, take the vote.
Councilmember Godin?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Yes.
Councilmember Mora?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yes.
Mayor Becerra?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now appointed Mayor Pro Tem Harriman and Councilwoman Mora and Godin as the alternates. Item 26, discussion and possible action to consider a partnership for a 5K race event. Councilmember Mora, since this was your item, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It has been brought to my attention that the city really supports our local 5K with the Kiwanis at the college. And so I have been satisfied with our participation. I don't know how we could participate more unless we post it on our social media. So I'm not sure what direction council or
Spencer,
staff
anything
wants to
further you'd
take
like
with
to
that.
add? No? Madam Clerk, would you read the recommendation? There's none.
Any action is at the discretion of your Honorable City Council.
Okay. Technical questions from council members? No? No?
Well, I do have a question
Go ahead.
for my colleague.
Go ahead.
So, outside of us sponsoring or, collaborating with the Kiwanis Club, you're also asking, did I hear that? You're also asking that we promote this effort on social media.
I think that would be helpful.
Okay, and do you envision t-shirts?
Kiwanis t-shirts?
I'm just asking.
I
We
don't.
can talk about it later.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there, go ahead.
I couldn't hear what she said. She didn't have the microphone there.
You want me to repeat it?
Could you please?
I asked her, in addition to us collaborating with the Kiwanis Club, was she suggesting that we promote this on our social media? She said yes. And then I asked her, part of her vision, did it include t-shirts?
T-shirts and hats.
Oh, and hats.
I'm kidding. Okay, I got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Can I ask for I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. May I ask for clarification?
That's, I was just going to turn it over to Councilwoman Mora if she has a motion on this.
Are you modifying this, or are you you changing it specifically to just advertise on social media? And then my second question is, have we had contact with the Kiwanis?
So that is a good question. I don't know how to proceed with the motion. I am satisfied with the city's support to the Kiwanis 5K.
Okay.
And I feel like we can advertise it on our social media. I don't know if that has to be approved by council or staff needs to get approval from Kiwanis, but this was our council discussion on the public platform to,
So you're not wanting to move forward with this?
we already support them.
Got it.
Mr. Metzler, we don't need to direct you to do anything else.
No, I mean, I hear the desire of the council, the social media stuff. That's certainly something, we can work on with them at my level. And as far as the T-shirts, I believe they already do that as a part of the registration.
Okay. So we don't need a motion on this item, correct, Madam Clerk?
If we're not taking an action to do anything other than what we're currently doing, then no action is needed.
Okay, no action is needed. Item 27, City Manager reports. Mr. Metzler, you're up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. A few items worth sharing with you. First, the free concerts in the park series at Victorville and Victorville Sings competition do continue at Hook Park with the last event scheduled this Friday, July 24th from 6:30 p.m. To 9 p.m. The Helping Hands program provides free lunches at our city parks through August 5th. And on the PIO side of the house, the city will celebrate the fire department's 100th anniversary on August 8th. That's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Victorville Fire Museum. So that should be a pretty fun and enjoyable event. On the fire department side of the house, we have 9 recruits that will graduate from Tower number 9 this Thursday, July 23rd. There we'll have Water Tender 311. Also entered front lights. Oh, I'm sorry, these are separate. In addition to that, as you know, and we've shared with you, Water Tender 311 entered frontline service on July 3rd. And we actually intended to have it here in front of City Hall today, but it's actually involved in an active fire in the north part of Victorville. On the code side of the house, Animal Services will showcase its new mobile adoption trailer at Concerts in the Park this Friday as well, and continue its outreach at several upcoming community events. Also, the Animal Care and Adoption Center will host a field trip for homeschooled families on July 30th. And then the Homeless Solutions side of the house, the city thanks the VVTA for establishing the regular bus service to the Wellness Center with service every 35 minutes on weekdays and every 70 minutes during weekday evenings and weekends. I do have a project of interest list that I'll share with you separately via email, and that'll detail where all of the projects are through our development process. And so with that, that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Item 28, discussion and possible action regarding upcoming agenda items. Councilwoman Godin?
I have nothing.
Councilwoman Mora?
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman Irving?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
I have none.
And I have none. Let's move on to item 29, reports from council members. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, I would just, the concert in the park was really good. And thank you for letting me take your place, Mayor. I had one disappointment. There was a big rig parked right on the street, right in front of the park. That's my comment. It was blocking people parking, so, that's all I have.
Councilmember Godin?
I also have been able to attend the first 2 concerts in the park, and I thought they were well attended, and it was good to walk around and connect with all of our city staff at the booths out there. So thank you guys for being out there. It makes a difference, and just connecting with our residents, and looking forward to this Friday.
Councilmember Mora?
I do want to thank our city staff. The concerts in the park have been great, and I know it's not desirable to stay out on a Friday night and cleaning up, so I do thank you. I think the community really enjoys connecting. I also wanted to say congratulations to Victor from engineering, the senior civil engineer who retired after 20 years. Thank you, sir, for your service. That is quite some time. And I do have to say, the city dump day that we had over the weekend, our city staff was really, really friendly, really nice. They serviced with a smile. And I really appreciate that as well. They did an excellent job, and I just really wanted to applaud them. So thank you to our city staff. You have been performing excellently.
Thank you. Councilmember Irving?
I don't have anything to report out, but I do want to say thank you to staff for the hard work that you put in daily to make life better for people here in the city of Victorville. I know that we don't always agree, but at least from my perspective, I appreciate your effort. And I think it was last week, I actually saw the street sweeper come down the street. He gave me a friendly hello, and we had a nice, pleasant exchange. So I know you're out there working hard for us. Thank you.
I just echo the same as all my council members, but Mr. Matthews and Mr. Robinson, for those of you who haven't noticed, our streets have been getting striped right now. It's that time of the year. Tell staff they're looking good. We finally got it down from when I used to do it. Looks good and everything. The public doesn't realize it, but until they actually need to stay in their lane. So thank you very much. Tell staff, great job. Appreciate it. And if nobody else has nothing else, the time is 8:21 and this meeting is adjourned. Oh, yeah, I used to stripe it. Oh, it'd be funny. No.